Hello everyone and welcome to this Yamaha Music DTX Drum Summit. I have the privilege of being joined by some of our finest artists, some of our youngest artists, and some of our oldest ambassadors, which is absolutely amazing. Some of the finest talent South Africa has to offer in the drum sphere, and we're going to be introducing the new DTX600 series of electronic kits. Let me take you through our guests for today. On my right, I have Leeroy Sauls. We're going to chat to you a little bit more. In the middle, we got Dominic Mcnabb, and on the end, Joshua J-star Zacheus. I'm very, very privileged to have these guys with me, and we're going to take you through the greatest features of these kits and have a bit of a jam as well. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your viewership. Alrighty, guys, I think let's chat a little bit to you guys, find out a little bit more about your careers, what you guys are involved with at the moment, your relationship with Yamaha, and we'll go from there. Leeroy, I'm going to start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Wow, how's it, Anton? First of all, how's it, guys? I feel so privileged to be able to do this with these amazing drummers and fellow musicians. Yeah. So my relationship goes back to when Dominic was born 15 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, when I first joined the Yamaha family.
For our viewers out there, Dominic has just turned 15, so we can wish him happy birthday on this video.
Yes.
I started working with Dominic when he was 10, but it's a privilege to have them all here. Carry on. 15 years. You've been with us 15 years.
15 years,
awesome.
and it's been a great journey. The longest time I've played with Hugh Masekela for 12 years.
Wow. South African legend, bro, Hugh Masekela.
Correct, yeah, and that involved a lot of traveling. Got 6 passports.
Gee whiz.
Yeah, it was all full.
Full?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I've played on a lot of Yamaha kits over the years, you know, anyway, but we're talking about electronic kit, but let me get back to the story. So yeah, I played with Bro Hugh, and then I also did some session work like locally, like Mikasa, and did some hip hop stuff.
A lot of great artists.
Yes. And then at the moment I find myself playing Afrikaans music, which is very much like a country sound, you know?
Something different.
Yeah.
It's nice to keep evolving and playing different styles, I'm sure.
Yes. And that's what's keeping me busy currently. And then I've also got an NPO that's going where we actually use drumming to, help kids, keep them out of trouble.
I think that's a very important point to make for everyone out there. It's something that we as Yamaha, as a company, are also heavily involved with. Dominic is also busy with an outreach program. I think it's so important if our kids are not involved and our youth is not involved in playing music. It's what a brilliant outlet, and also, as you said, it keeps them out of trouble. But it's just such a nice outlet from a creative aspect as well. So we applaud you for doing that, and we appreciate it.
And also coming from Cape Town. So I'm from
Cape Town
Cape Flats, yeah, Cape Town.
Wow.
And drumming just didn't change my life. It actually saved my life. I know it's like a cliche thing to say, by the way, but a lot of my friends, died, gang things. So, I mean,
Sure.
I know myself and Josh share a similar background. But so drumming has actually just helped me a lot, and I actually want to give back and change lives, So that's the thing, yeah.
That's fantastic. It's very noble, and we appreciate it. It's awesome.
And thank you so much for the support.
Of course.
Because without your support, we wouldn't be able to.
No, we're here for you always, and thank you for joining us. I think you're gonna love telling us a little bit about these DTX600s.
Listen, so when I first got the kit, because I live in a complex and obviously I can't make as much noise, I put the headphones in, and the first preset that I used was the modern country. I'll obviously play a little bit later if you want.
Yes.
But everything is so perfectly tweaked. The only thing that I actually had to change was maybe just like the cymbals or something like that. But everything else, like the preset, was perfect for me. So when rehearsing, checking out some tunes that I had to play, that thing just worked amazingly. And also the sound, the way you can actually mix like the headphone out in my ears, it sounded like a dream. It sounded like I was actually playing like on a live show.
Oh, we're digressing a little bit, but I'm so happy you brought that up, and I prefer flowing with things as drummers would.
Yes.
But one of the big points to mention, and this is for all of you guys, we're going to get through it, is that for the first time as well, in a long time, Yamaha have released a new series of electronic kits. There's actually 3 new ranges: DTX6, which we have today, DTX8, DTX10. So it's been a while since we've ventured into electronic drums. Our first venture there was in terms of new kits and new features for drums was the E8010, which you all got, which is an amazing piece of gear. It's changed the face of social media and YouTube, which we'll discuss a little bit later because there's features of that in here. But the big thing is also what we're very proud of with these kits, just for our viewers, is the quality of the onboard sounds. It's something that doesn't get mentioned a lot. We're going to talk to you a lot about sampling, but one thing that our viewers should know straight off the bat, because we've got such a rich history in making acoustic drums. I mean, Yamaha as a music company is 135 years old this year. So we were a music company before we were a motor company. I fight with our motor division all the time about that, but they're half our age, so they need to respect their elders. But one of the things is obviously, and you guys know, you're all the proud owners of great Yamaha acoustic drum kits, is that those kits are in this module. And I think it makes a massive difference in terms of just the quality and the authenticity of the sounds. I'm going to move over to you now. Young man, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and where you are at the moment and what you've been busy with.
At the moment, I was traveling actually. Last week or the week before last week, I was in Bloemfontein, did a clinic at the SC Music Festival. That was so far the best show I've ever gone to because it was done for kids and the kids had so much fun. And I met a lot of my followers there and they are just amazing. And so far, I'm just waiting on what God has planned for me in the future. I'm getting back to the Dominic Mcnabb motivational project where we go out to schools, play for them, and just motivate the kids out there. And there's always at least one person whose life gets changed, who was about to make a bad decision, but now that they saw that, they change their mind and they want to make something of their lives. And then other than that, I was playing a lot with this DTX6 and all I can say is it's amazing. I love it. This is so far the best DTX that I've ever played on. And I've played a lot with the module. This thing is amazing.
That's awesome, and I know you're going to tell us a little bit later about how you can load your own samples. The sampling functionality is something that's another world on this kit. And obviously you've been using the EAD as well, and you can see that the module is kind of, we'll focus and zoom in on the module a little bit later. The module is laid out in a similar fashion to the EAD. But Dominic, in terms of your career, you've been with Yamaha now for the last 5 years. It's been an absolute privilege having you on board, and we really thank you for all your efforts and all the playing. But your introduction is a little different in the sense that your sort of first foray into drumming and into that was also based a lot on social media platforms, and a lot of the, as you mentioned, you're following just now, a lot of the interest you've generated and some of the amazing things you've achieved has been through your social media. And I know Leeroy and Josh were both freaking out about our Rec and Share app. It's a record and share app, which is something we're going to touch on, which is definitely aimed at the new world and where we are. But yeah, thank you so much, and it's awesome to have you here today, and we look forward to some playing shortly. I'm going to move over now to Joshua. Another legend who's been with us a long time like Leeroy. Josh, please tell us a little bit about where you're at on your journey.
Yeah, well, I am currently working on my album. I'm finishing the biggest project of my life. Besides that, I mean, for years I've been traveling with Leeroy. I've worked with many artists, Selena Johnson, lots of rappers. Right now I'm playing on my piano, so I'm still growing because as a drummer, I feel like music taught me how to play it. Music taught me how to be part of it. It's because someone would call me and now I've got to swing, now I've got a salsa, now I've got a samba, now I've got a, you know, so that's what made me the drummer I am today. And when I look at these kids, I find parts of me in here.
Wow.
When you hear a certain kid, you're like, oh, this is a swing, like Hollywood. You know the Hollywood kid? It's like you can't play gospel chops on a certain kid, so it brings it out of you. These kids give you the opportunity to explore certain genres too. That is also why every time I have an opportunity, I also would go to schools and do outreach because I want kids to see this live here. And when I have an opportunity, I set up outside in the streets and I give kids free lessons because no one has the opportunity to come and sit behind a beautiful kid that would be on a stage. You're not access, you don't have access. So it shows them how possible it is because I'm one of them. I'm a kid of the Kasi, you know? So for me, I feel like what Dominic's doing, what he's doing for kids, what I've been doing, and what I'm, even now in Maboneng, I'm trying to teach kids there. One of the kids I met when he was so small finally became my student now. Awesome. So now I get to see him play, I get to introduce him to this. And when he played on the electronic kit, he was starting to make beats. He was literally taking sounds and not playing drums, but producing. So this, it stimulates creativity in another way, you know? So
That's
I mean, for me, who's a
point.
producer, dancer, singer, and drummer, this is exactly what I need to be able to go out and be all of me. You know, so, yeah.
That's an amazing point. And Leeroy was talking about it now when he was saying, you know, the country patch. There's literally, without even having to create your own presets, and I know Dominic's very much into that because he spends a lot of time with his modules. What I love is what you were just saying now, and Leeroy said earlier, you can basically get any sound authentically, it's already there.
Yeah, it's in there.
You can modify it, and we're going to talk a bit about the kit modifiers, which are the three sort of most important new features that are on this module. But again, the fact that, as you said, the quality of the sound, the sound's authentic, the fact that you've got 3-zone cymbals, which you can obviously choke, which we'll demonstrate a bit later. You've got a 3-zone snare, so you've got your rim shot, you've got your cross stick. Those things are, as you said, there's no limitation. I think that's where I'm tying it into what you were saying. And it's such a privilege to have you guys here, because we've all been friends a very long time. We've all been involved musically for a very long time. But to have you all here in one space and to just chat about how different your careers in music are, I think it's so important for people to understand. And that's an interesting word, I guess, a career in music, because music industry has changed so much. We're talking about social media influencing and how people look at it. But with, thankfully, for now, the demise of COVID and the fact that the live scene is back as well, it's so good. I know you're also doing some Kwaito now. You were talking with the TKZ guys.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, shame there as well. There was some crazy stuff happening. But the point is, the variety of artists and the variety of styles that you guys are playing, it's so nice that you've got the ability to translate that in this format as well. And it's something for our viewers out there that we're doing on the keyboard side of our products, and it's something we'll be looking at with our drum artists. We eventually want to create patches that'll be available to our entire market by our artists. So we're going to be speaking to you guys about that. It's something I chatted to our keyboard guys about recently. They've created the first ever local patches, so like Tent Music, Itende. We focused a lot on that yesterday, which is very much an African thing, and the crusades that go through Africa, it stems from that. And to hear the history and to hear where we're going, and for me the big point is localized as well. So we can not only for South Africa, for the continent, and for the world, it's so nice to expose them to our styles, our music, and some of the things that happen with that. While I've got you here, one of the things that was blowing your mind, Dominic uses it a lot, we'll chat to him about it as well, is this Record and Share app. For our viewers out there, the Record and Share is the Rec and Share app, as it's called, is a free app. It's on iOS, it's on Android. Josh, I see you've got it connected here, so you can just tell us a little bit about it while you've got it there. You've got it connected to your phone at the moment, but we're going to chat a little bit about the training functionality. But just tell me, in terms of being able to record your own videos and syncing HD audio, how that app has helped you.
For the longest time, honestly, I have kept myself from uploading videos because the quality is bad. Like, I would have a video where I'm killing it or I'm grooving, but when I listen to it, I'm like, I don't want people to hear this with this audio. This eliminates all those things. It's like you will have professionally recorded quality video and audio synced up, ready to post. You can literally edit it on the app. I mean, if I record now, it's going to put either a metronome on, I can jam to the metronome. And when you play it back, the metronome is not there. You are locked in, and you can post
so it actually mixes
It mixes your audio, yes. 100%. Like, you don't need
and
to
no click, which you don't want in the,
Yeah, so you can play 2 click when you record.
Yeah.
And afterwards, when you play it, it's clean. So you can even play to music as well. Then the music's balanced. And it's ridiculous. I tried it out last night again. It was like, I just didn't bring my stand. Otherwise, I'd demonstrate it.
No, thank you so much for that.
This is what will make all our content better. I mean, the EAD has this in as well. So now when you play acoustic drums, tuned, panned, EQ'd.
I think that's a very big thing. So this kit is also something that's a little bit more affordable into the market. So as I said, there's 3 new models in this range, 6, 8, and 10, and there's obviously some sub-models within those categories. But the point is, we've taken a while. As a company, it's always interesting where Yamaha comes from and the ethos. But in terms of the innovation, unless something's right, they won't put it out. And it's so nice that they've actually gotten to a point now where we can incorporate stuff. The EAD10 was a groundbreaking and is a groundbreaking piece of gear. But the fact that now it's distilled into here. And I think the big thing that you raised, Josh, that's very important. Not everyone has, even in these times, and the fact that most big studios are mixing in a box now and whatnot. What's very important, and Dominic, you can tell me a little bit about this now as well, is that the guys went to a situation where you can record affordably the quality of that video. You were talking about, as an artist, you want control of your own destiny. But as you said, usually to record a video, for instance, if you're recording an acoustic kit, you would have to have a sequence of mics. You'd have to have 12 mics, top and bottom snare, do all of this to make your kit sound great, have it shot by a film crew like what we've got today.
And then mixed.
And then mixed. Now you can have it So any one of your students, anybody can actually access this, can practice with the app, because obviously the app has a ton of practice features as well, where you can eliminate the drums from tracks. You mentioned you can play along, so if you've got your own original audio, or if you're playing along to a cover or something like that, you can play along with this app. And as you said, you actually sound professionally mixed in the app.
Yeah,
and it's free, man. And that's the whole point. And 90% of the world has a cell phone or access to a cell phone, whether it's a cell phone, a tablet, or a laptop or something. The beauty of it is that it gives you that affordability linked to being able to control your sound and have professional sound. So that's a very important thing. One thing I just want to touch on now is the kit modifiers. We'll zoom in on them shortly. There's 3 buttons on these modules. I'm going to move over to Dominic here, where we've got ambience, compression, and effect. And these really do change a lot about what's happening. The ambience to me is amazing because you can actually change the ambience in the room that you're in itself, which again adds to the authenticity of the sound. The compression, you've still got master compression if you want, but you can also over compress to get some of those TR-808 and those sort of beats, the 808 beats and whatnot. And then obviously effects, you can, like the E8010, you can add effects live on the fly as well. Dominic, what else do you really like about this module? What is really blowing your mind at the moment? Let me move around while you talk.
First thing, the training feature is back. So the training feature, I've only seen it in the 402 series. So far, it's been improved by a lot. There's a lot more new tracks. Once again, the gate scores are back, the gate parts are back, and there's even rhythm gates as well, and dynamic gates. So you can basically test your dynamics on that. And then another feature that I love a lot is the custom samples that you can import. So I have a VST mix wave, the Tony Royster Junior patch. So that kit isn't on here. Usually you have to use your laptop, connect it up to a VST, and play it from your laptop. But with this kit, you can basically import all of those sounds right onto here. Here's a demonstration. And it has these custom stacks.
Oh, it sounds great, man.
It sounds amazing.
That stack especially.
And you do it with the stick. You load it with a memory stick, no laptop,
with the memory
right?
stick,
Yeah.
yes.
Again, far simpler. If you haven't got access all the time to a laptop or something like that, you want to be able to. It's about making things uncomplicated and simple. And as you said, you can have your heroes presets. So not only have you got great acoustic kits that have been sampled, and the sampling is a key thing again. The layers, you were talking about the stack now, Leeroy. How you can layer the samples in terms of the stack is amazing. The way they've also done it with the module as well is because we make those great acoustic kits, live maple, absolute, hybrid live oak, and recording custom and kits like that have been some of the most recorded acoustic drums in the world. Those are not sampled in the traditional sense where it's a digital emulation of that kit. Those kits are mic'd, played and performed. And all of you have raised something interesting because music's all about dynamics. And you can correct me as a guitarist, but for me it's all about dynamics. And it's so important. That's what takes people on the emotional journey. That's what comes from the heart when we play. And dynamics, one thing that a lot of electronic devices fail to capture is that dynamic. No one might play the snare, for instance, the same way twice. And in terms of the layering of the sample, you can layer up to 120 layers eventually per function. It's unbelievable, actually, once you get into the deep editing, how much you can actually do with the kit. The other thing for drummers, which I think is something worth mentioning, we've got a really nice history in racks. I'm actually physically going to look at the rack now. I personally love black and red. I know you love black and red as well. So now you've got the 2 little stripes. But this RS6 rack, and I saw you guys all humping your gear in here earlier. What a pleasure to set up. So easy to actually set up.
Love it.
It's incredibly sturdy because we've got a great history. You've got our hex connections, obviously on the toms, so the toms don't flop. And so the rack is great. Ultra lightweight, ultra portable, but ultra sturdy. So again, if you're playing in a complex and you don't want people to hear you, or you're taking it to an outreach, or you need to set up quickly, it sets up very easily, and more importantly, it stays there. It stays exactly where you are. We've also got in this range a new kick pad. You can see on the DTX6KX, which is what you two have at the moment. You can go for it. Just give us a little kick vibe there. It's how does the pad feel to you?
Yeah, it feels nice, man.
It's all about that natural simulation.
It feels very natural. It doesn't feel like you're playing on a digital kit anymore.
Okay, that's very important. Obviously, the K3X, you've got this very big. Which
Can I give it a thumb?
Please do.
But maybe add some ambience there while you do, so we can hear the effect of the ambience too.
Can hear, listen to the natural room reverb coming into what Leeroy's doing, and it literally sounds like an organic kit happening.
Is that D-Funk? So this is D-Funk with no ambience, and this is ambience. So you can go, see, no compression, effect. See. So yeah, you can literally, I mean, the fact that you can make your own kit, your own custom kit. I can actually go home, hit my snare, my Steve Gadd or my Dave Weckl, and then literally tune this to that. I could literally sample that and then put it on a stick and pop it in. So I could have a J-Star kit on here, which is why this kit is amazing. Instead of sampling it, I could create it or sample it in. So this thing literally...
It gives you basically every function of capturing that. What I love about what you were just saying now as well, which we need to mention, is just that look how easily you just added the ambience. And that's the point, you know, and this is the beauty of technology. I might look good for 65, but we're showing our age here, unlike the young man, in the sense that it's all the Botox, guys. It's all the Botox.
Yeah, I know, for sure.
That,
I was wondering, like, you know...
Yeah, he hasn't aged. What's going on? He's plastic now. No, that what I love about that is exactly as you were saying. You can just roll in the past, in the first generations of anybody's electronic kits, you'd have to deep edit into, or it just wasn't there. You'd have to get really into the. Here you can just literally, it's a touch of a button, touch of your fingertips. You were talking about also how you can actually amend the click.
Yes.
So instead of just having a very sort of synthetic click, you can have somebody calling it out to you. You can have a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Which is awesome. What was cool, what you were saying now, that the app immediately eliminates it, but it's there for you to play with.
Yeah, it guides you.
I mean, you guys in your careers, having played with so many different artists, and even Dominic now at the start of his career is playing with a lot of artists, you've got to... groove and timing is everything. So I think, and Dominic was mentioning a lot about the training function, and I know you spend a lot of time on that, and how nice it is because you can eliminate the kit and play along, and it actually, you won't hear your pads if you're actually not in time. So there's a lot of keeping there to keep people. So basically from any level, I think these kits will cover a drummer, whether you're in a professional environment or whether it's your first ever kit and you're just learning to play. I think you can't really go wrong in terms of the feel. Obviously, the fact that it accurately simulates the acoustic kit, and seeing players of your guys' caliber play and using things like the choke in a musical context, the cross deck, the rim shots, all of that. Yeah, and it's an authentic. It's such an authentic choke. It doesn't sound forced or latent or anything. It's immediately there if you want to. So, guys, it's been such a privilege having you guys here. And is there anything else, and I'll keep quiet, is there anything else you guys want to add? As I said, before we let you play a little bit?
Okay, go ahead, Josh, please. I'm a gentleman.
You were talking about the kit that you were, when you first put your kit on. The kit that got me was the spiral.
Really?
Like the spiralizer. Like for me...
That's here.
I like different sounds. I like to experiment. And obviously, like I said, I'm producing at the moment. So when I hear stuff like... See, so when I'm playing drums and music, it makes me explore my solo ideas. It makes me explore, because I don't need to jam with a band when I'm doing this.
No, it inspires creativity. I think that's the...
So even my fills, everything, when I come back to the one, I know when I'm out. And now you can record that. Now you can put those gates on, you can listen, oh, I was out here, So this kit literally can take you and show you where you're going wrong. You can listen back to yourself. Because I was always one preaching, record yourself, listen back to yourself.
So important.
Record yourself. But not everyone had that
Had that facility.
Yeah, the facility to actually
correct.
listen to yourself properly and hear, yeah, I'm slacking here. But this, and nothing tells you you're playing nonsense like an acoustic kit.
100%.
You know, when your notes are not clean and you listen back, you're like, sure, I need to clean my 16s up. So this is exactly what Dom was saying with the training technique. It puts you on one every time.
I think that's a big thing. Thank you so much for that. The inspiring creativity, number one, because as you said, the sounds are genuine and authentic sounds, even if it is an out there EDM sound or something that you're going to use. I know you DJ, but you, as you said, are involved in so many different spheres of music. So are you. I think it inspires your creativity, but then, as you said, also can harness and direct that creativity, which is really important. Thanks so much for that, Josh. You wanted to mention earlier something we haven't touched on. Josh was talking about now going the transition from an acoustic kit to an electronic kit and back. If a lot of people start on these because they live in apartments or it's more affordable, the big thing is that it doesn't feel like an actual kit. So it's one thing you've got the sounds of an actual kit, and all of you have the benefit of both. But it's another when you're actually getting, you think you're thundering. It's the same as Josh was mentioning when you record yourself for the first time. I'll never forget the first time I heard myself. I thought I killed it. They should have killed me. It was terrible, like hearing it. And it's so important to keep doing that, recording yourself, listening to yourself. Exactly. But we have to sort of, as a player, you can only improve and practice with stuff like these training modules. And then the real feel of these TCS pads. Yamaha are famous for them. On the DTX 8 and 10, we offer a mesh option. But on the DTX 6K3X like this, you've got the full mesh option, which is available in the whole 600 series. And the full TCS pad option. And that pad is really there to simulate a real feel. You were talking to me about it because you've also got the natural hat, which you'll play a little bit for us here. How do those pads feel to you? Same with the new kick pad in terms of just the realism and the authenticity.
So this kit actually completes me, brother.
There
to
you
be
go.
honest, because transitioning, now that I moved into the complex and I've got my kids obviously running around, my son at the moment, I've got another one on the way, So I spend a lot of time on this kit, playing live, taking it with the rehearsals, those type of things. And you actually don't feel the difference because the response of this is actually like an acoustic kit. Even when I use the hi-hats, you get that
It's
live
literally
feel.
feels exactly like your hats.
Yeah, it's like a real vibe, even dynamic-wise. The response is out of this world, yeah.
That's so important. It literally, because that eases that transition and it just sounds great. It's like absolutely perfect. So thank you so much for that, because that's something that the guys need to know about as well, that you can actually, even in simulating this hi-hat, that it feels like actual hats, which is another, it's the fundamentals of your groove, basically, or your kick, hat, and snare. So it's so important that actually feels like a proper kit.